What's up, folks? So we're at part 3 of social interactions and observations. So last night I was at work. So I get to work, and like I told you guys, I'm trying to really keep to myself. It is good for you to interact with people. I'm getting to a point where I'm going to speak. I saw a video with Prince, and Prince was accepting an award, and one of the things he said that he did was he only spoke when he was spoken to. And I'm pretty sure that probably fell under, he was probably in certain situations where he was pretty sure when he was with family, he didn't act like that. But when you doing professional type stuff, he probably was like, yeah, I'm just chilling, watching and observing. So I'm pretty sure he was doing that most of the time. When I be watching and observing, I get to see how people are really acting. It's kind of like, how is somebody going to act when nobody's around type of thing. And it gives you comfort because nobody's going to tell you who they are. Nobody's going to be honest. Not many people be honest with you about who they are. They're not many people, to avoid lying. They're not going to say, hey, look, I'd rather not, that's none of your why. Why you want to know. So I had to speak with my supervisor about something, because I didn't like the way, I had to speak to my manager because I didn't like the way my supervisor was handling business. So I went and talked to my manager. And one thing I said to him was, I said, man, listen, one thing I do is that I watch you guys. I watch you. I watch how you interact with other people. I watch what you're doing, because I want to know who you are, because you're not going to tell me who you are. When you're by yourself, when nobody's watching and you think nobody's watching, that's who you are. And then he was saying that, but I didn't go too deep into it, but it was like, because I feel like he was trying to brush me off because we never had in-depth conversations, and maybe that's something I can't expect from my superiors on my job. But he was like, well, that's kind of unfair because maybe that person's being fake. I didn't catch that. So you say you're being fake to everybody I seen you interact with? And how is it not fair? Because if that's how you act, then that's how you act, bro. Then you fake, if that's what you're saying. But I'm only worried about how you interact with me, for real. But if I'm watching you and I can see, okay, he's not this, he's not that. Like, for example, we had a guy on the job. Everybody thought he was racist. Everybody thought he was a butthole. The dude, he used to dip, and then he had he used to dip, and I found out that his disposition was different because he was in a lot of pain. He was in a real bad car accident, and he had to have his shoulder replaced. So he was in a lot of pain. So they would replace it. He had to get it every so often. They would have to cut him open again and clean it, and then do the thing again. But he was like, it put him in a bad mood most times, because sometimes on the work he's bleeding, and it's like all kind of stuff was going on. But anyway, people thought that he was racist and everything. So I said, no. I'm not going to take your word for you telling me somebody's racist. I'm not going to do that, because that's not fair to that person, because I don't know them. So we were sitting back and watching them for months. And then I noticed that this man treat everybody the same. He's just as shitty to you as he was to me. But that was who he was. But all in all, he was still a good guy. Overall, he was still a good guy to me. Average, citizen. He was real private. He watched what he said. When he would talk about somebody, you would ask him what was wrong. You say, man, what's going on with you? He'd be like, I'd rather not say right now. I'd rather not say at all. And he just kept to himself. When I got hired, was time for me to level up, to get promoted, this man put in a word for me. This man sat down with me and told me what to do in order to get hired. Another guy who everybody was calling racist, he sat down with me and told me what to do to get the promotion. He told me everything I needed to do. And he said, well, the only difference is I won't be on the hiring board because you work under me. Other people will be doing that. So, folks, we have to pay attention before we take other people's word for things. We can't sit back and it'll protect you. It'll give you a peace of mind because you have an idea. If you have a sound mind, you could figure it out. What's going on with this person and that person and why they do this and why they do that. Don't rely on hearsay. Don't do that because you're going to lose every time, folks. You're going to lose every single time. Don't do that. If you got to know something about somebody, I say have the balls to ask them, get it straight from the horse's mouth. That's what I have a tendency to do. And, you know, there was rumors about a buddy of mine, and I went to her and asked her. I said, is this true? She was like, no, it's not true. Talked to her and her baby daddy, same thing. It was like, but I know they stand up folks. And they tend to themselves. You know, they're a racing family. They both got race cars and stuff, and they do stuff together. But from my point of view, it wasn't hard to see, but I mean, I just couldn't rely on what other people were saying. The rumors and stuff that was going around. I was like, I'm not finna sit here and listen to you. I can't listen to you because you sound stupid because you are committed to the lie. I mean, you committed to the rumor that may not even be true. That's stupid. That's dumb. I don't get into it like that. So yesterday, I'm at work. I get my assignment. So my assignment is 2 different departments. It's with actually 3. So I report to another department when I go to work because my department doesn't set up until 2 a.m. So I clock in at 1. I go to the other department. I'll stay there till 2. Stay there till 3. And then I go back to my department. And so he gives me an assignment. He says, here, half of this stuff belong to us. Half of this stuff belong to your department. Just take our stuff off and leave your stuff on the trailer. Sometimes that's not always possible, the way we work. So I get into it, start working, and he was like, yeah, I remember what he said. But anyway, that's the long story short. Here comes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I go back to my assignment, and there's somebody in my assignment. I noticed they was going back and forth. So he steps out, and he's looking at me. He was like, good 3-4 seconds. If you're the type of person, if you go to stare at me, I'm gonna give you that eye contact in return because I'm like, what the hell going on? I want to be attentive to you because it looked like you got something to say. And he was like, what you do? What you need? You need something out of here? I was like, nah, this is my break. Nah, this is my break. I said, okay. He's like, man, whatchamacallit just gave me this assignment. I was like, okay, cool. I said, but I've been in here for like an hour, but actually I've been there since like 1:30, and it was already after 3. And he was like, man, something wrong with you, man. You be tripping. And I was like, I didn't understand where that came from. Me and this particular person already had words years ago, and even then I didn't know what was going on because he would say some wild stuff out the blue. Talking on his breath, this, that, and I'm not understanding what I did to you. And so me being me, I approached him. I said, bro, do you have a problem with me? Like, is that, man, go on, man, get out of my face. So apparently it wasn't really anything that I could decipher at the moment. I don't know what his problem was. But this particular time, I decided to not engage with him because we've already been over it a few times. We've already talked about it. I'm not finna waste my time with that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, your social interactions and observations will end your anxiety. It will allow you to have a smooth day. If your goal is to be drama free, no matter what environment you're in, please pay attention to where you at. Pay attention to your social interactions and observations. Observe the person that you're dealing with. Observe the person that you're dealing with. God dang it. Observe the person that you're dealing with. And limit the interactions that you have with those on a negative vibe. That's the simplest way I can put it, man. Because these folks, I don't even want to know. I was going to pull up on them and be like, bro, let's talk. Man, I don't give a shit. I got too much shit I'm trying to do to be worried about you and what you got going on. But I leave myself open, because if you want to talk to me, you can always come and talk to me. But I'm not finna waste my time, lose no sleep. Not at all. Messing around with you and what you got going on. And I think one time this was like maybe a month ago, he said something out the blue, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I said to myself, I didn't say that to him. I said, man, I gotta start cutting people off. Because people wishy-washy, man. They up and down, man. I mean, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Because if people are unpredictable, then they man, don't fuck with them. Don't rock with them. They're gonna have you. You can't do that with everybody. Don't do that. So look, I hope you guys got something out of this, man. I gotta go. Sorry that the video ran a little bit too long. I'm just talking about my life and what I'm going through. So you guys take it easy. Have a nice evening. Peace.